Yeah!
I don't sound like y'all doing too well. How you doing out there? I just want to, I already feel at home, so you don't have to make me feel at home. This is my neighborhood. I want to thank the, late Mr. Wallace for his vision and his dream of the IYO, and Miss Wallace for her hard work, and everybody that worked at the IYO now to make sure that the dream that Mr. Wallace had is still alive and well. We've worked tirelessly and hard to make sure that the IYO remains the way it is, but we have to make sure that they have more resources as they continue to do the things like this. I remember a young boy running around the streets of the IYO, this street right here blocked off a long time ago. So I remember what used to happen needs to continue to happen. I remember we used to have, they had the building here, the building down there. I had my first business right there with Booby making shirts, printing shirts and selling them to people in this neighborhood, in this community. That was thanks to the IYO, the International Youth Organization, Mr. and Mrs. Wallace. If there's anybody that's ever done anything for this community, that family has. Mr. and Mr. Wallace has. Let's give the Wallaces a round of applause, y'all. I'm going to sit down, but I'm going to tell you about them. And those were old-time leaders in this community. We don't have those type of leaders that exist anymore. They were people who did things because they believed in it. They didn't do things because somebody paid them to, or gave them a job, or offered them something, or took care of them individually, or gave them food. They did things because they believed in this community, because they wanted the neighborhood to be better, because they loved our children. They loved some of our children more than their parents even loved them. They took care of this community before we even took care of it. In fact, the Wallaces were probably some of our first parents in this neighborhood, because they provided us not just with food and recreation, but positive youth culture that we're missing so badly. We have a youth culture that's dedicated to gangs and violence, but Mr. and Mrs. Wallace always raised up young people in this neighborhood that were civic-minded. They brought people to council meetings a long time ago. They brought people to freeholder meetings. They took young people to trips to Washington, D.C., to Trenton, to speak for their neighborhood and their community. That's what Mr. and Mrs. Wallace did. So I hope I didn't want to disturb your time today, but I needed to tell you about the reason why we out here today and the people who we're celebrating at the IYO. This is the temple in this neighborhood, in this community. And we need to do everything that we can to make sure it stands strong, and that we make sure it has the resources to continue and continue and continue for our children and our children's children. God bless you all. Have a good time today.
Thank you, Brother Baraka. He's running, y'all. He's running 2014. He's running for the mayor of Newark, New Jersey.